manage with the computer systems and stuff, that cow still gets 100% individual care, even, and as she ages, I can watch her more closely. I can put her on watch list. It's no different than a sort that you guys might do for your emails or something like that. I can pick which things I want to watch on my cows. Yes?
The water that you recycle back into the crops, is it just for the crops that you use for feed?
Yes, yes. All of the water that we have gets recycled back. It grows into a crop, or we use it for cleaning our barn. And it just goes round and round and round.
I know that there was a concern, with some of the E. coli that was in spinach and jalapenos and stuff coming from water from crops. So how do you, I know it goes straight to your crop, so it's not necessarily going into a field that's growing spinach or something. But how would that be something that you could try and reduce the likelihood of reusing
Sure. Well, and that's one of the wonderful things about how a cow system works is she's going to purify a number of those things before it ever gets in the milk supply where you guys would deal with it.
Right. But I was talking more about the crops. For if it would get into any other crops maybe down the road, or if there was lettuce being grown there or anything like that.
There are extremely stringent guidelines on what you can do with your water, and you have to sort of keep it to yourself, sort of a rule. If mine runs off on anybody else's fields, I have a huge liability. Big fines, nasty connotations. So we're very careful about that. In fact, how we take our water out and apply it, we do it one of two ways. We have a sprinkler, and it's only on our property that we do this. We actually have it with long drops, so it comes down and it's 12 inches off the ground is all the further that it falls, so it goes a very short distance. So we're not volatilizing that and making it where there's scent in the air. The other way that we bring it there is we have a 9,000-gallon tank, and we take that there with a tractor in this tank, and then we can apply it exactly where we want. So it's almost like spot treating for your carpet. We can put it in that spot and that spot only, and then we can monitor it. And we are followed by the Department of Health on where we put that and how we manage it. Yes?
Can you explain a little bit more about just the association of how we have so little cows now that are producing so much milk, and just kind of how that has
A lot of it is technology and paying attention. So one of them is genetic selection, because we're able to keep records on these cows. We're able to say, look, this particular cow family is producing this much milk. But we see this other cow family, specifically the mom, she's making this much milk. So if you had a choice of which animal you were going to keep in your herd, because now this is a business decision, am I going to keep the one who's going to produce a bunch, or am I going to keep the cow who's not doing much? I'm going to keep the one who's doing really well. And I'm going to hope that she has female offspring, and then I'm going to try and keep those. And so I'm constantly trying to ratchet that. The average milk production kind of in the 1950s was a cow made 20 pounds of milk, which is less than a gallon. No, a little over a gallon. Okay? So not a lot of milk per cow. Then what we've been able to do is watch what we're doing with the nutrients. And so when I was a kid, we fed everything out of a chuck wagon. So we had corn silage and we had hay. And we threw it in there, and that's what you fed the cow. And you hope that she made some milk. Now what we're able to do is we're actually able, because of the sciences that have gone forward, we know what's in each of those components, like the corn gluten feed, like the corn hominy, like the whole cottonseed. We know all those components, and so you can put them together. It's no different than a kitchen testing that happens where you're making a recipe. You know which components can go in there and which things will work well together and which ones won't. And so those two things together have been huge. And of course, the crops that we're also growing today are more nutritive than they were in the past. We have better plant densities because we're able to choose the specific corn varieties that produce more corn rather than stock, if that's not what we want. If you're interested in lots of stock, you can choose a corn variety that does that. So we can specifically tailor the crops that are coming in to feed our livestock to what that livestock actually needs. So all of those things together. So A lot of it is technology, and a lot of it is paying attention to how can we be better at what it is that we do. Yes?
You were saying that you provide a majority of your milk to Prino Foods, is that correct?
Yes.
Do they have a specific requirement for the nutrient composition and the flavor of the milk that they're receiving from you? Because that would be impacted then on their cheese production. Do you have some kind of guideline that you have to make sure your milk is following for them to buy it?
So what she's asking is, do we have specific flavor or component guidelines that we're looking for with the Prino? Not specifically flavor, except for, they do test it if it's got some bad stuff. Because one of the things that you could feed your cow, for example, is onions. Okay? Any of you have nursed, you would know what onions do. Okay? And there's also a scent in the milk. So that's sort of something that's a huge no-no in the dairy industry. Nobody feeds it to their dairy cows. But they are looking for the components that are there, not specifically the scent of it, but they're looking for the fat content and what the protein content is in there, because they're actually able to fractionate it. So your pharmaceuticals, for example, when you take a tablet in the morning, a lot of times it's on a whey tablet. There's this little teeny tiny drop of whatever it is that you were trying to get with that pill is on your whey tablet. But the whey came from a place like Leprino, who fractionated it out and said, look, we don't need this stuff in cheese. It doesn't make it taste better, it doesn't make it have a better resiliency or a better feel or any of those things, so they're able to fractionate that out. And so there are specifics that they want for their milk. Also, they're looking for consistency based upon the products that they're making. Leprino's makes over 600 different label items. So you can have your cheese sliced, diced, with a little bit of cheddar, you can have a little bit of provolone, you can do whatever to mix it together. So Leprino has a very specific mix, and they are looking for those proteins, but by virtue of how they can manage the milk once it gets into the plant, they can fractionate it and then add back whatever it is that they need. Yes?
Can you explain the purpose of adding BST or giving a cost BST versus,
Okay, so she's asking for the difference between supplementing a cow with BST and just letting the cow do her own thing. A lot of it has to do with carbon footprint. And carbon footprints are huge concepts for all of us. We're trying to do more with less and trying to take up a smaller space while we do whatever that is. What the BST allowed us to do, it came out in 1994, and it allowed us to take 6 cows, and with those 6 cows, make milk with only 5 of them. Okay, so that's an 18% reduction in the amount of cows that are there. So if you're looking at greenhouse gases, if you're looking at the amount of feed that I have to feed them, because a cow is going to use some portion of the feed ingredients that I put into her, just like we would, for body maintenance. Okay, so if I have fewer body maintenance bodies to maintain, that's going to be more efficient. And so that's one of those technologies that made that cow more efficient. On average, a cow will make about 10% more milk with BST. And do recognize that that doesn't come just from thin air, and we're not just taking it from the cow's body. It means that we also make sure that that cow's nutritional needs are met at the same time that we're giving her BST. So we're not stealing it from the cow's body. We're making sure that she's got enough energy and nutrition in her body that she can manage that. Did I see one more? Yes?
You might have finished this explanation, I missed it, but I'm still trying to understand how compost is comfortable, so the cows on compost.
Okay, so you...
Because I mean, it's humans, I just don't know that I want to sleep on compost.
Sure, I'm not sure that I would want to sleep on compost unless I was wearing one of their hairy fur bodies. Then I think it would be just fine. And here's the value of compost, okay? So you have to recognize that the cows might sleep on concrete, cows might sleep on the hard ground. Okay? You have to remember that a cow is going to weigh somewhere between 1,500 and 2,000 pounds. And so she's got a lot of weight laying on her chest. When she lays down, you've got a lot of compression there. If I lay directly on the hard ground, after a very short period of time, I'm going to be rearranging myself. The cool thing with compost is it's almost like going into a waterbed. Is you go in there and it sort of squishes out to the sides and contours to her body, and she's got plenty of space. And if she kicks it out of her bed, no harm, no foul. It goes out there.